Hello, I'm Prathyush, and today I want to talk to you about Dhak Dhak, directed by Tarun Dudeja. When Jile Zara, the now shelved all-woman road trip film which was supposed to star Alia Bhatt, Priyanka Chopra and Katrina Kaif was first announced, a rib-tickling tweet was doing the viral rounds. I quote, "Jile Zara needs to have at least one scene where the girls are struggling to find a clean bathroom because of what's a road trip without realizing roads were not made for women." Unquote. Under the veneer of caustic humor is a grunting worry that to make genres feminist or to feminize genres, it isn't enough to flip genders of protagonists because gender is merely the surface manifestation of all those structures and silos that we have assumed as fact. Those too then must be brought to light. Thus, toilets. Dhak Dhak, the all-woman biking trip film starring Ratna Pathak Shah, Dia Mirza, Fatima Sana Shaikh and Sanjana Sanghi, begins with these women trying to find a sanitary place for one of them to squat and pee. Wet wipes and comforting affirmations are passed around. This road trip film, we are promised at the outset, will never let us forget that it is women who are taking to the road, be it in the gaze of suspicious or lusting men or the inspired wide eyes from young girls. But does this promise hold up? The complications of them being a woman are wound tighter, layered by their age, religion and personalities. Dhak Dhak does the labor of completely flipping any assumption of what we might consider a biker. Its feminism is not about writing a new script, but rewriting an old one. It takes the most unimaginable prototypes you would associate with a Royal Enfield bike and plonks them on the whirring metal.
अगर साइड में देख, आंटी बाइक चला रही है। देख लड़का स्कूटर चला रहा है।
Uzma, played by Dia Mirza, is a married woman in a burqa. Manjari, played by Sanjana Sanghi, is a Radhe Radhe chanting virginal fattu. Mahi, played by Ratna Pathak Shah, is a grandmother and old woman with young dreams. They are led by another prototype, the ball-busting woman, a vlogger with raw wounds, played by Fatima Sana Shaikh. Together, the four strangers make for unlikely company as they grunt their bikes from Delhi to Khardungla, Ladakh, the highest motorable pass in the world, or as it is described in the film, bikers ka tirth, their pilgrimage.
18,380 फीट की ऊंचाई। एक दिन मैंने यहाँ जरूर जाना है। हाँ?
Each has their own demons to contend with, and over the course of the trip, these strangers become chaste shoulders to lie their weary pasts on. They joke about orgasms or lack thereof. The first half dusts through the various backstories that led to their paths crossing, revving up the hills. Each has something to prove to someone. The second half wobbles along with the medical and mechanical emergencies, all equally inane and predictable. Tensions and angers flare, love and companionship balms, and so goes the genre. The problem with prototypes, however, is that lesser actors lean so heavily on it, they forget prototypes are people too, irreducible to a single quirk. As though Sanjana Sanghi was repeating religiously to herself, be mousy, before the camera clicked on her sunken shoulders, a powdered face, a raspy voice, all pointing in one saccharine sincere direction, as though she were the incarnation of an adjective, one single adjective. Fatima Sana Shaikh follows in these footsteps, though armed with an opposite adjective, ballsy. The last we saw of Dia Mirza, she played the Muslim woman cursed with a careless husband in Maiden Heaven. Here too, she plays a Muslim woman with a careless, even ruthless partner. While the class position of her character in this film is significantly lower, that otherworldly grace and poise is very much a repetition, as though it is impossible for Dia Mirza to be part of any world embedded in it. She plays a mechanic, but embodies it untouched by the grime of the job, pouring oil poetically. She is always floating over the character angelically. It is in Ratna Pathak Shah's artistry then that the film is held. Her loneliness of being a widow, her longing is both comical and tragic, her accent is both heavy and unstudied, her face registers both the flatness of her character and the depth of her performance. In the writing, her character brings everyone together. In her acting, it's the film that she resuscitates. As the woman journeyed through Delhi and Ladakh, there is a female monk, an entrepreneurial cook, a truck driver, a soldier, a road construction worker, all who spew wisdom as the women undertake their respective journeys.
आपको और अम्मा जी को बाइक से ले जाना है। आपके साथ कोई जेंट्स तो जा रहा होगा ना?
There are soft moments to the side, like when Uzma is picking up the litter of chips packets while a conversation is bubbling elsewhere. Soon, however, the film forgets its initial promise, insisting that these are bikers on a road trip, but women in the city they left behind, mothers and husbands and grandsons to be accountable to. As though asking, why should a woman biker face different challenges on the road, different from that of men? There is mist, flash floods, flat tires. These are all gender agnostic. When the journey becomes about overcoming past traumas, it's never allowed to be fully present. It's always backward looking. It's not that the road trip genre of films should not be steeped in backstory. Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, for example, was essentially, masterfully, backstories that come to boil in Spain. But when writers do not know where a backstory ends and a character begins, that spells doom. They're also preoccupied trying to explain a character's intention. They forget that while intention is fermented in the past, it rumbles into the future. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the film and this review. If you like such videos, do like, share, subscribe to Reviews and More.